Welcome back to another video. If you're new, my name is Leah and I am all about spending less, creating more, and sharing with you how you can do the same thing in your kitchen. For the month of February, I am doing a pantry freezer challenge using up what we have because not only do I want to save a ton of money, hint, hint, we're going on a big vacation next year. But also I want to use up the things that I have in a really wise way, make a dent in our inventory, and use up the things before they go bad. Because some of the items we don't really enjoy, and some of the items I just didn't remember I even bought. So it's time to use up those things. I'm taking you along with me on that journey. If you haven't seen the week 1 start of this whole thing where I shared with you the inventory, how I'm getting started, and week 1 grocery haul, make sure you check that out. It's down in the description box. Today I'm going to be sharing with you 2 sort of grocery hauls. It's kind of funny. We'll get there when we get there. And I'm also going to be sharing with you all the little things that I cooked throughout the week that helped me make a dent in our inventory. So let's get started. As you can see, I started the week out with quite a full refrigerator, which usually means one of 2 things. We are either going to be having a leftover buffet, or we already have all the ingredients that we need for a really good taco night. So this day, it was kind of both. I'm using up a lot of leftovers to go into our taco spread. We had chicken on hand that was already seasoned really well, but it wouldn't matter if it was pork, steak, chicken, ground turkey, ground beef, whatever we had on hand I was going to use for taco filling. And that includes the type of cheese. I used up the leftover queso dip that I had made, and that made delicious quesadillas. And everyone enjoyed their meals so much. It did not feel like a leftovers night. It just felt like another typical Taco Tuesday. So pro tip, if you have leftover meat, either freeze it before you can use it or use it in tacos. And I don't think anybody's gonna know. So I also wanted to share with you some lunch ideas that I used for the kids that week. We had leftover pizza rolls and a slice of pizza, and I gave that to Weston. And then I made a little breakfast box for Malin. She loves these pumpkin spice protein waffles from Kodiak Mix. So I used some of that along with syrup and cut up sausage. And another one of Weston's favorite lunches is a turkey wrap. So he'll use a tortilla, some lunch meat, cheese, and even spinach or mixed greens. For another dinner, I am using up some cooked ground beef that's in my freezer. Like I talked about earlier, keep that in the freezer till you can use it. And I'm going to make some spaghetti using the last of this protein spaghetti pasta, and I'm gonna make some homemade sauce. Now I am going to use quite a bit of onion, and I'm trying to remember to save all of my peels from those onions because it actually turns into a really great vegetable broth. So I stick those in my freezer till I can use them. And I'm also going to use up some of these mushrooms that's in my freezer, chop all of that up really, really well, and it's going to be hidden in my sauce. The kids never know that I do this. Dakota doesn't even know. And it just adds so much more vitamins. I think it adds a lot of flavor, and it just bulks it up, especially if you're not working with a lot of meat to begin with. So I don't have an exact recipe for my marinara, but I like to use some Italian seasoning, salt, pepper, garlic powder. If I have fresh garlic, it's even better. And I also use a little bit of sugar. That just helps cut out the acidity, but seriously, for this huge pot, I might use half a tablespoon. Of course, I also put in that cooked ground beef. If it wasn't already cooked, I would have just put that in the pot first, let it brown, and then added all of the rest of my ingredients. And then I'm going to let that simmer with a lid on it for probably 45 minutes. Next, I scoured my fridge for all the ingredients to make a salad. Like I said, we started with quite a full fridge, so it wasn't hard to find. Plus, having fresh produce on hand is really important to me, even during a pantry challenge. So I'm using up what we have, making sure that it doesn't go bad, and that included these little green onions. Now I am going to stick those into a jar with some water and let those grow sitting in my kitchen. I've been doing this for years. It totally works. Let me know if you try it. I'm also going to put down in the description box the link for these little food huggers. They fit perfectly on an individual yogurt, and while the rest of my family hates food waste, Malin is still learning and she definitely cannot finish an entire yogurt by herself. So we just pop the lid on, stick it in the fridge until the next day or after school. And they come in all different sizes, including one for bananas. If you just cut a banana in half before peeling it, stick that little cap on. There's several sizes and they all stick together nice and neatly. I definitely think these are an investment worth having in your kitchen. One of the proteins I wanted to use up this week was this big pack of pork chops from the freezer. So I got those defrosted, and I am just going to follow the directions on this box of Zatarain's dirty rice, and I just pan-seared the pork chops, put the rest of them that I didn't want to use up into a Ziploc bag because I'm going to cook those another day for some lunch prep. And I like to put a little bit of water in the pan as well once they're seared on both sides. It just helps steam the pork chop and get it cooked all the way through. Then I just served that with some leftover salad, and dinner was done. Next, I wanted to share with you one of the breakfasts that I had. It's definitely pretty unconventional. So I used up the last of the cooked shrimp that I had in my freezer, leftover peppers and onions that were already sauteed, and I just cooked all of that together with some egg substitute or scrambled eggs, whatever you have. And once that was all cooked up, I put that onto some toasted corn tortilla shells and lots of hot sauce. I know it's kind of weird, but I love breakfast tacos, and shrimp is pretty mild in my opinion, so it tasted really great together. Another day I used the sausage strips that I got out of the freezer, some eggs. I had 1 regular egg and 3 farm fresh eggs, so you can see the difference there. But all of that together, along with some homemade bagel bites. I do have a recipe for you. I'll try to find that, put it down in the description box, because they're actually not that hard, just a little time consuming. But that was a really fun Saturday morning breakfast. And then later that day, I made a big pot of chili. Now I was using dry beans, so I had to get those pressure cooked first. But this entire meal really was a one-pot dish. After getting those pressure cooked for 45 minutes, I took them out of the pot. And I am using ground chicken. I also defrosted some enchilada sauce from the freezer, and then I wanted to use up the cream cheese that I had, also some Velveeta, and I'm going to cook up that ground chicken with a whole packet of taco seasoning. I don't even remember buying packets. I usually just keep a huge bottle of seasoning on hand. But I'm going to use a very large onion, get that chopped up really good, and remember, we're saving those peels in the freezer. I'm also going to use a can of fire roasted tomatoes or Rotel, whatever you have on hand. You could put little green chilies in there. You could use canned beans, whatever you have on hand. So I'm going to use some kernel corn, only half a bag. The rest of it I'm going to put back into my freezer to save for another day. And once all of this was combined, I'm also going to add some water. Now I have a lot of flavor from that verde sauce. If I didn't use that, I would really recommend using some chicken broth, maybe some extra seasoning. And this definitely needs salt as well. I forgot to add the salt during the cooking process, so I made sure to add that later for each individual bowl. And I also really think that it needs some spice. I like a kick. But this is all going to come down to your flavor preferences. Now at this point, I probably could have added my cubed up cheese, but honestly, I forgot. So we're going to do that later. I'm going to let this pressure cook for 45 minutes. And then after I've released the steam, I'm going to get all of that cheese. It's about 4.8 ounces, I think it weighed out to be. I stuck that in there, let that just get nice and creamy. I didn't have to turn the heat back on because the soup was already so hot. And then we used up our leftover tortilla chips. You could add some sour cream. Like I said, I added a lot of hot sauce to mine. And you could do anything that you have on hand. And it makes for really great leftovers like enchiladas or a taco bowl. It is time to go into Kroger. That is the store that I am shopping at this week because of the deals that I know that I can find there. My grocery list is pretty small. I'm going to stick to it. I'm going to get in, get out. That's why I'm going before I get my kids from school. So let's get in there. I'm not going to look at the deals. I'm not going to look at the clearance section. I don't need those things. Unless the things I need are on that, then that is fantastic. So let's get in there. Okay, I know this is my favorite bread, but it's $4.99. It's not on sale. They have the Kroger version, $2.99, but it is not the same. It's really stiff, like not very good. So as much as this pains me to do it, I am getting $1.79 white bread. This is actually softer than the Kroger Artisan, so we're gonna go with this one today. I was also pretty surprised to see that the Kroger brand broccoli was actually more expensive than the same cut of broccoli from Bird's Eye. So you can always check the price per ounce or per unit. You want to guess how much we spent? I was not expecting to spend $64, but that is what I spent at Kroger today. It's still better than the $150 that I would have probably normally spent. And there was quite a few things that I passed up on. So I know that this challenge has caused me to spend less. We did get 4 cases of pop, which would have definitely put our budget down even lower if I skipped those items. But buying them when they're on sale is the way to do it. If you're going to be a household that wants to drink a can of Diet Coke every so often, then buy it when it's on sale. Go ahead and get the 4 cases once a month instead of getting 1 case every week for double the price. So I definitely saved a lot of money by getting that this week. Those will last us until the end of the month. My husband will be happy. I will be enjoying my calorie-free little simple pleasure in life. So if you are wanting to save a ton of money, I will say cutting out pop, chips, cereal, those are some things that really eat up on your budget. And if you don't buy those things when they're on sale or when they're on clearance, you will be spending a lot more money than you technically have to. So if you're on a super frugal budget, keep that in mind. But for the purpose of my personal pantry grocery challenge, it is to use up what's in my freezer. And let me tell you, there were plenty of things that I really wanted to get today, including some ice cream sandwiches, different kind of meat. I really wanted more seafood, and I skipped all those things because I knew I'm on a pantry challenge. Use what's in my freezer first. So the challenge is doing its job. Also, this weather. What is this weather? This is Tennessee in February. You never know what you're gonna get. Might be a blizzard one week, and then the following week you're going to be enjoying t-shirt weather. So here is our fridge going into week 2. We still have sauces, the bananas I'm going to make some pancakes or bread with. We have just a little bit of almond milk. Also, I have to clean my fridge. I have some leftover chicken chili. We've already had leftovers from it once, so I'm thinking lunch for tomorrow, and then the rest will go in the freezer. I keep a little bit of water in a container, and it helps keep the carrots good. I have some maple syrup, little tiny bit of queso. I don't know what we're gonna use that for. Some salsa, I guess if someone's getting snacky and wants some of that with their leftover chili. I have my hot sauce Greek yogurt dip sauce, and some regular sour cream, vanilla Greek yogurt, those cooked blueberries still, and then we still have the cilantro. This is how good it lasts whenever you put some water. I need to refresh the water, but it lasts really good that way. 3 different kinds of hummus. I still have half a thing of my egg whites or egg substitute. And then of course all of our condiments, including some barbecue sauce, some habanero sauce back there, a little bit of queso, pickled beets, lots of salad dressing. And then we still have some breakfast meat, these little turkey smokies. I have a couple of pancakes left and 3 eggs. And then our cheese drawer down to 1 block of Colby Jack. And then this was left over from a work event. So technically I have cream cheese that I didn't have before. And then in here we still have some sausage bacon, like sausage strips, tortillas. The kids have not been enjoying these, but I do sometimes. They're little yogurt gummies. Couple of Go-Gurt. I still have my Brussels sprouts and Malin's strawberry Greek yogurt, some butter, and pie crust. Over here, I have some coffee cream for Dakota and a can of Coke or Diet, whatever this is. Have a can of Dr. Pepper. Okay, I know we're on a pantry challenge, but a friend of mine told me to come over to her house and grab some things. She said you can take the box, and if you want to put stuff in it, you can, okay? Wasn't that so nice?
Yeah.
You think we found some things that you're really going to like?
Yeah.
Woohoo! Say thank you, Miss Erica.
Thank you, Miss Erica.
We are going to start with an anti-grocery shopping haul. I did not purchase any of these. Ironically, during my pantry challenge, I had 3 people give me things. It was insane. So, of course, that would happen during a challenge. But we did not really have chips. We were down to just a little bit of our Fritos and the empty, like the bottom of the bag of tortilla chips. Some of these little cracker things was fun. So I'm going to start over here. My friend at work ended up giving me 5 of these Kodiak Flapjack Quick Mix. I think you just add water to them. It tells you exactly how much to add. And then you just make your pancakes that way. Of course, you could probably put them in the waffle maker too. And she just didn't want these anymore, so she gave them to me. And I am bringing some things from my deep freezer to work for people to have. So that was a nice trade. And then this jam was from my brother-in-law. He just got back from Argentina, and he wanted to give us this blueberry jam. And if you remember in my previous video when I showed our fridge, we are basically out of jam. So that worked out really well. And then another friend of mine, she texted me, said, hey, come on over. My husband's supply needs to be used up. So anyway, long story short, she ends up having a ton of products from Frito-Lay that they can't go through. Some of it is past date, some of it is close to date, and we just get to go and pick out what we want. So she had a big box of things for us, including these nuts. There's little individual packages in here. These are past date. I'm not sure how long they're gonna last for, but I'm gonna stick these in a Ziploc bag and into my freezer to help them not go rancid. And then there was that bag of cashews that Malin just snuck out of here with. These are little cheese cracker packages that Malin really likes. The date on them is for July of 2023, but the kids had them the other day and said that they still tasted good. So I got 2 of those from her. Malin ran off with these from her supply, little cookies. The jerky is one of the main reasons why she called me. She's like, hey, come over, I've got a bunch of beef jerky for you. So there are 2 flavors, the sweet chili, which is actually not spicy at all, and the Flamin' Hot, which just tastes like spicy beef jerky. It doesn't taste like Cheetos, but anyway, there's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There are 10 packages here. That was so kind and thoughtful. I always appreciate so much whenever she asks if we are ready for a little restock. So anytime that you're able to do a swap with your friends, your family, or if you ever have extra, it's always really nice to be able to give that off to some other people. So we have definitely utilized a lot of things from her. We have donated some things from her over to our school and for some special, events and helping out our community. So I always appreciate that. Dakota loves pork rinds, so I got this bag for him. The kids like individual bags of chips. I don't know how many of these things are in here. This is open, but it looks like there are the little cookies. There's individual chips, maybe some crackers. Weston picked out these spicy chips, Cool Ranch Doritos, regular Doritos, and barbecue. So there was so much more that we could have picked out from her house, and I told her, no, this is seriously plenty. So again, thank you so much, Erica. Thank you to my brother-in-law. Thank you to my friend Jenna. We appreciate all of this so much. So that is the first haul. And then here's everything that I got from Kroger, aside from not pictured, is the 4 cases of Diet Coke and Mountain Dew, Dr. Pepper. Like I said earlier, those I know are not a necessity. Some of these things in general may not be considered necessities for your home, but as you can tell fresh fruits, vegetables, even frozen, is really important to us. So that was mostly what I restocked up on, along with some dairy. So I got the mozzarella while it was on sale because I will want to use that next week. I got 1 pound. I also got 1 dozen of eggs, and I went with the less expensive ones this week. The kids really don't mind the flavor of which kind of eggs I get, so I bought 1 of those. And then 2 of our Fairlife fat-free milk, which is really great protein without as many calories. And then I also got our Kroger buttermilk bread. This was much less expensive than the kind that we normally get. So a couple of things that were definitely different than I normally do. I picked up bananas. These are a smaller kind, which is my favorite. And of course, I like them a little green. 1 jalapeno and the tomatoes on the vine. We're going to use those with the cilantro that I already have to make some pico with the onions. I already got into this. I was doing some meal prep for Dakota. So there were originally 6 onions in here. Got the yellow onions, and these bell peppers were on clearance, 99 cents for the 3 of them, 99 cents for 3 zucchini. So I was excited to add those to the meal plan, probably for my lunches this week, as well as baby broccoli. 2 bags of those. I like to add a little bit of cheese, sometimes just salt. It's a really good snack, addition to a dinner, good for lunch if you're just feeling hungry. I love broccoli and cheese, it's so good. And then I also went with the baby spinach. I just noticed this is looking very wet, so I'm gonna stick a paper towel in there, try to get all of that dried up so it'll last, because I definitely did not notice how wet that was in the store. The Gala apples were the ones that were most on sale or a better price. And then I also picked up 5 pounds of clementines. Malin and Weston have been asking for oranges for a few weeks, so I finally got those for them. So here's the fridge after grocery shopping. I also got meal prep done. So that is a pack of pork chops left over from last week. I went ahead and cooked those on a skillet. I have 3 of these actually for Dakota. It's the carne asada with the peppers and onions, and he'll take tortillas and sauce, sour cream with them. And then here is all chicken breast from the oven. I chopped up 1 portion of it, and then the other I put in this bag. I'm actually going to stick this into the freezer. I don't think we're gonna go through it, so. Hopefully this video gave you some inspiration to go through your pantry and use up what you have. And of course, until the next video, I will chat with you down in the comments.